What is up? What is up, people? I think this is a new episode, so welcome to episode 5 of Mastering the Markets. Maybe episode 6. I'm not too sure. I haven't edited the last video, so I can't remember what, or I don't know what I'm titling that. Hence why I don't know the episode. But as you can see, so last night I started doing my market analysis for the week, and I realized I said, let me be careful when I show this, because it is Twitter and Twitter can get a bit wild. But so let me go to my account first. I'm just going to my account to get up. Okay, there we go. Cool. Here we go. Boom. Bring back up Streamlabs. Here we go. So I tweeted out yesterday, March 2nd. I tweeted out Gbpjpy setting up for a great breakout move. Gonna be patient and make sure I wait for a break of this consolidation before getting in. I said I was overall bearish. However, if we break above and retest, I will enter for buyers. And this is what I was talking about. This is what price looked like then. So now, as of right now, this is what has happened. On the 4 hour, actually, let me just get rid of this to make it cleaner. You can see that we are bouncing around in this range. And I thought, cool. The way that Gbpjpy is moving at the moment, I can't really intraday trade it, scalp trade it how I want to. So let me go back to how I know to swing trade Gbpjpy, because I always like swing trading Gbpjpy. And because of the way the market was, I believed if we did break out of this range and retrace, it would a good swing trade would suffice, and I wouldn't need to get in and out of the markets throughout the week on GJ, simply because of the moves it's making right now. And the moves that I believe it is going to make are large, because it is a large consolidation zone. So let's go on to the 2 hour. I've got these lines and these boxes drawn out, as you can see, psychological levels: 191, 190, 189, 188, 250. These are just areas where we were consolidating. Now I can get rid of this one because this has less weight. Now we are in a trade. However, you can see this massive area we were just ranging and consolidating in. I can go down to the 1 hour even so. We were ranging between, I would say, 188, 250, 188. We did come down to it. 188, 250 to 190. Very, very aggressively. We were coming up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 189, 500 held very nice a few times. However, I'm not marking that out just because I don't want to clutter the charts too much. So as you can see, this morning or today, we have broken out of this massive consolidation range. We've broken out very, very nicely. And I was waiting for a breakout I was waiting bearishly, first of all, because I was overall bearish. However, EMAs on the 4 hour, we have just crossed over, and market structure is showing that it's bullish, and we're breaking out in a bullish manner. I still do think we could be bearish, which is why I'm happy to take this position as a swing trade, because it will take a while. I've given it a lot of breathing room, so if we do lose the trade, it shouldn't happen immediately. Even if it does, it does. However, I entered because we broke out, crossed above the 50 EMA, 50 and 8 EMA crossed over together. That's in my swing trading strategy. When that happens on the 4 hour, I will look to enter. On top of that, if we take this Fibonacci retracement on the 4 hour, and we can even go down to the 2 or the 1 hour, I placed my entry at the 61.8 retracement zone, which also happened to line up perfectly with this 190 psychological level, which is also, as you can see, has been resistance and support, or was support here. Resistance, 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 resistance. My swing trading strategy is very, 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 very basic. I do not implement too much stuff with swing trading, because swing trading honestly can be profitable with just support, resistance, and basic understanding of market sentiment if you are just patient. So I entered this position. We put a buy limit here. We are in it. It's not looking good right now, but we have an hour and 46 minutes for this trade to reverse, or this candlestick to close. And what I believe might happen is we come down a little bit further just to fill in this 1 hour imbalance, as you can see here. And I feel like if this imbalance gets respected nicely on the 15-minute, or I mean the 30-minute, we push up nicely, I may add another position if we get, for example, a very strong doji, to bring this trade to a 1% risk instead of just 0.5% risk, because I am very confident on this breakout move just simply because we've been consolidating for so long. I believe whatever happens now is gonna move price pretty heavily. But yeah, first trade of March, we'll see what happens. What is going on, people? What is going on? So as you guys know, I think I recorded, I'm not too sure, I have to check my clips after this. We lost that GU or that Gbpjpy buy that I was going to get into as a result of this breakout. I got into a buy around, I think I basically had my limit here, stops was below here, and then I was targeting these highs up here, something like that. However, price didn't want to basically lizard on do that, so I noticed that if we go to the daily, we got a retest of this 50 EMA, which just has helped to use or used to help directional bias. So I come into the charts this morning, we saw Asia range highs get taken out. Boom, Asia range highs get taken out. I didn't mark it out just because I see it with my eyes, I'm used to seeing it now, but for the sake of the video, let me explain. Here we had a change of character after the highs. Then here we had a break of structure. Before the break of structure, where was the last momentum candle to the upside that creates a supply zone? Here to here, as you can see. So I placed my limit order on this order block, supply zone, whatever you want to call it, bish bash bosh, all the same thing. Got tapped in. I did partial out actually at 3 risk to reward. 3 risk to reward here. I closed out 50% of the position. Did I close out 50%? Yeah, I did close out 50%. I closed out 50% of the position here, let the rest run down to 4 risk to reward, and then closed the rest. So a W on the day, that made us 1.8%. Then GU, you can see that GU, we are overall bullish on a daily, bullish on the 4 hour. I do now believe, however, though, we are going to get some form of a retracement, potentially from this area of, could use this one, this area of supply. Just the reason I say that is because on EU, we have come into this weekly supply, weekly order block. You could say daily if we push up a little bit more into here or even into here, but just for the sake of my overall explanation and understanding, I'm going to use it as a weekly order block, because if you look at this weekly candle, we are definitely due for a pushback down. However, let me explain this GU trade. So this morning, I wanted to get in for GU buys as we took out Asia range highs. However, we just didn't present a place for me to enter that I liked I can't even speak English right now. We didn't present myself, or I wasn't presented with a place to enter that looked strong enough. So what I did, I waited, price pushed away from these Asia session highs, and we created this 1 hour fair value gap that we didn't touch into. I was basically waiting for, initially what I was going to do is basically do this, stops below here, TPs up at London highs. Would have kind of got the same kind of movement, but I thought, let me be a bit more patient and wait for something a little bit more clear cut. So as you can see, yeah, 1 hour fair value gap. We come into this fair value gap just before New York session. And we're printing bearish momentum. We take out some liquidity here to push us all the way into this fair value gap. After we tap into this fair value gap, we get a change of character here, but I didn't mark that out just because it's so small, couldn't be asked. So the break of structure happened here. Once again, same thing I did this morning. When I get in on a buy or a sell with supply, demand, order blocks, after the break of structure, or before, yeah, when you get a break of structure, where was the last zone price went down at before it went up and broke structure? Or where was the last place price went up to if you're in a getting in on a trade for a supply? However, we are getting in on demand. So this candlestick here, these two candlesticks, this doji mixed with this bearish candlestick, was the last point price went down at before we pushed up and broke structure. Same thing again, New York session opened. I noticed we pushed away. We broke structure as New York session opened. I said, cool. Now some of you might say, but where was the liquidity sweep? There wasn't a liquidity sweep, and you are correct. However, from my experience in the past couple of days, look, in the past days, let's say 2 days, we've pushed up. No liquidity sweep on Asia range lows or Asia range highs. New York session starts here. We took out London lows here. However, the reason I got in without a liquidity sweep is just because we had this reaction off of this 1 hour fair value gap. And in conjunction with that, we had news that came out very, very horribly for the US dollar. So because this news came out horribly for the US dollar at 115 and didn't push price too crazily, I thought to myself, cool, that news came out very bad for the dollar. What is liquidity? Liquidity is essentially fuel to move the markets. We've got this news that came out basically half under what they expected it to come out. So that is a very, very bad news release for the US dollar. So that gives us enough fuel as it is. We don't need any more fuel than that. We're not going to look for a deep liquidity grab for that. And then on top of that, you could consider that this was internal liquidity that got swept here. Let me just mark this out as liquidity. One time or once we swept out internal liquidity. Here you could also argue that that's also an internal liquidity sweep. Although we didn't get a liquidity sweep of London session lows, I was happy enough to enter this position off of this order block, simply based off of the fact that the news came out so poorly. So entered on the order block, closed out 50% of the position and went break even at 3 risk to reward, as you can see. Let the rest ride out to London session highs up here for 5 RR. So after considering partials today, I believe we gained 7 risk to reward on the account. Today's been a very, very good day, has made me back quite a few of the losses that I have taken, and that's what I like about this strategy. As long as I stay true to what I know and true to what I do and actually follow my rules, I can lose 6, 7, 8, 9 trades in a row, win 2 and be fine. I'm not back in profit on the account. However, I am nowhere near where I used to be. I think I was minus 5% on the account. I'm now at like minus 1 or minus 1.5%. So today was a very good day. Gonna come back tomorrow and look for some EU sells, because I do believe we need to head back down, man. That is mental. We do need to head back down. But yeah, that's what I did today. Things are going well. I also started trading. Remember the other prop firm account I had with Rocket 21, and the rules didn't line up with how I trade now. I thought, cool, rather than just let the account go to waste and get breached for inactivity, I started trading Bitcoin on that account just to see what happens. I either blow the account or get a payout. I didn't really care to blow the account because I wasn't planning on trading it anyway. Placed some trades on that. I don't know if I can recreate. Let me see if I can recreate. So I'll just basically, I got in for some sells the other day, all the way up here after we broke out of this consolidation range. I believe I had my consolidation range like this. I waited for a retest, which we got here. Yep, because if I came out, I basically got in sells like here. I didn't really place a stop loss because I didn't really care. I was like, if I place this trade, if it goes, I'm not advising anyone to do this because it's not proper risk management, but I'm just doing this because either way, it's either get a payout or blow the account in a situation where I was just going to forget about the account anyway. So there's only a positive to me doing this. So I placed like a trade, rode price down here, closed out. Then we started to create some sort of a, consolidation range here on the 5 minute. So we got in consolidation on the 5 minute here. Initially what I did what did I actually do? Initially I had my zone like this. Initially I got in for a sell. As soon as we broke here, I got in for a sell. Stop loss doesn't really matter. I got in for a sell here, and I rode price down to about just after, because I saw this massive candle come up and I almost blew the account because, like I said, I'm not doing risk management because I don't really care, because I either blow the account or get a payout, like I'm saying. So price came all the way up there and almost hit my daily max drawdown, dropped, came back down here, put me up like 1% or maybe like 2%. So now I was just at minus like 1% on the account. And then I saw this, I was like, cool, what can I do now? I closed that trade out, obviously. Then I noticed that we had this massive imbalance here. And I was like, oh, okay. So after we closed this candlestick here, yep, this candlestick here, no, here actually, after we broke this high, this little bit of consolidation range and broke above here, I entered preemptively on one of these 2-hour candles. I believe it was this. Yeah, I entered like basically in the middle of this 2-hour candle, and I rode price all the way up to these highs here, because that lined up with this 30-minute fair value gap, like almost like the 50% of this fair value gap. And as soon as we tapped this 50% area, closed the trade, was up on that account about 1.5%. So submitted a withdrawal request this morning. See if they hit me with some stupid rule. If they do, they do, and then I'll just forget about the account completely. But I thought, may as well give it a shot, because I either blow the account, get a payout, or just forget about the account. Blowing the account and forgetting about the account, exact same thing really. But yeah, that's what I did. Submitted a withdrawal request, and we will see what happens, guys. If I get that withdrawal request, I at least got a withdrawal, you know what I mean? At least I got a withdrawal, and then I'll just do the same thing until I blow the account. If I get 2, 3, 4 payouts before I blow the account, good. If I blow it next time, don't really care, because I wasn't planning on trading that account seriously anyway. So just making the best out of a bad situation. I do want to start learning to trade crypto a little bit more though, because it does seem very clear cut as to when volume does come into the crypto markets. It's very clear as to where we're going. So I might consider that and start forward testing crypto to implement into my daily trading, because there's a lot more opportunities that arise in crypto every day than there is on Forex. So might be something that I do, maybe get another funded account just specifically for Bitcoin. But we'll see what happens, man. Manners. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So Euro USD. Yesterday I spoke briefly about it. However, we've come into this weekly order block. If you want to say daily, you can, but I'm just going to use it as a weekly just because it makes sense. It's the last point price moved up at before going down on the weekly. We've come into that. So although we are bullish, daily time frame, weekly time frame, blah, blah, blah. And although the E50 EMA is going to say we should be buying, we are heavily overbought. Let me see if this also, I don't think a fib will make sense here. No, fib doesn't make sense, but if I use the box, Garn box, we are in premium price, or yeah, premium price, very good for sales. So drop down to the lower time frame. As you can see, we're inside the weekly order block. We've had Asia range. Asia range highs have just been swept. We have had a change of character in here, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna mark it out. Break of structure down here. I'll mark that out just for you guys. Boom. Break of structure. Now, the last zone that price went up at before breaking structure was right here. However, like I said yesterday, and when I explain how I get in on supply and demand, I will use the last zone price went to before heading down to get in. However, this is too far gone from where the liquidity sweep happened. So as a result of that, I'm not entering off of, sorry, my phone's going crazy. I'm not entering off of this area. I'm entering from this area because this area makes the most sense. This is just something that you're gonna have to gain through experience. You just learn these things over time. So I placed my limit order on this order block in here. However, I am slightly tempted to bring it up to here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm very tempted to bring it up to the 1 minute, because if I'm gonna go here, the likelihood that price comes here is very high as well. I don't want to get greedy and put my stops there, so I think I am just gonna leave it here, just to be, like I said, not to get greedy, but this is what I'm looking for today. Yo people, so as you can see, didn't get tapped in. Originally I said to you I was going to look to enter potentially off of this 1 minute supply zone here. I didn't. I moved my stop, or I moved my entry to the bottom of this imbalance that was created after the sweep. And look how stupid this is, bro. Are you mad? Do you know what that is, fam? That's yo. That's 0.1 pips, bro. Are you mental? I'm mad, but it is what it is. These things happen. These things do happen. If I entered off of the 3 minute imbalance or supply, I would have got in. That was something I was considering. However, I just didn't really want to get into a trade for just 2.75 RR because, or not because it was 2.75 RR. That's not my problem. It's not that I'm greedy and want to make more profits than that. The thing is, with my trading plan, okay, let me explain something. Let me go back. If I got in, right, off this 1 minute order block up here, right, I get tapped in here, price gets to 3 risk to reward very quickly here. 3 risk to reward is right here, and then I'm break even on the trade and I close 50%. So I can cover my stops and go risk free very quickly. However, if I decided to get in on this 3 minute, I just have to hold the trade the whole way. And we had this lower time frame area of that support that we were just bouncing off of. So I didn't want to enter off of the 3 minute just because, like I said, I would have had to hold the trade completely to take profit throughout this whole range when this area didn't look too nice. And my whole thought process with this trade initially, was if I get tapped in here, by the time we come down to this area that I don't like, this 1 minute area of resist support, by the time we come down to that area, I would already be able to go break even and take 50% of the profits off the table. So it's just about risk management, and getting in on that order block wouldn't allow me to manage my risk, or the 3 minute wouldn't have allowed me to manage my risk how I wanted to. So it's one of those things. I'm hoping that price does come up in New York session so we can get another sell-off, similar kind of thing, just based off of London highs. But yeah, missed that trade. Perfect direction, perfect execution, perfect thought process. Everything was perfect. Price just decided to not move up that extra 0.1 pips, and I can't control that. So take that for a win on my psychology today. Technically, obviously, on my trading plan, I can't put it as a win because it's not actually a win because we didn't get in, but I'm going to consider it as a win mentally for my psychology, because at the end of the day, I did everything correct. Price just decided it didn't want to do what it needed to do. So it is what it is. Hello. So it's quite a lot later than I normally do enter positions. However, the position just looked too clean. So as I was saying on EU and GU, this is GU by the way we're in, I just heavily overbought. Like, we need some sort of retracement. We can come up and do this to bring this across and show you that we are in this daily order block, kind of weekly at the same time, but daily because there's nowhere to draw it on the weekly, so it is a daily. On EU we have this weekly order block here, but we're talking about GU. So we came into that zone. I can get rid of that now. And London, I didn't trade EU. I didn't trade GU. I traded EU, but we never got tapped in on that trade. Did I record that? Yeah, I did. So we had a sweep of London session highs here. Massive amounts of accumulation. So then we got a sweep of highs, dropped down onto the lower time frame. As you can see here, we had a break of structure. And then literally just a retracement into this order block. That was the whole trade. Very, very clean, simple trade. We are coming down to this 3 risk to reward area where I would like to go break even, but because it is it's almost 5 p.m. I don't like being in trades this late. I think what I'm gonna do is go to my trade locker now and move my stop loss to break even right now, just because being in a trade this late, I don't have much data on trading this late in the day, and because I don't have much data on trading this late in the day, I want to cover my position as soon as possible. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna go break even right now. I'm still not gonna close any of the position right now. I'm gonna wait until we do get this break of this 3 risk to reward area, and then I will close 50% and let the rest run down to. I was gonna take the rest at Asia or London lows. However, I wanted to target this 2-hour imbalance, the top of this 2-hour imbalance. Now I do want to target slightly deeper into it, but I'm not going to get overzealous and over or greedy, because at the end of the day, this trade was where was my stop? 205, 6 risk to reward ratio trade. So I don't need to be greedy and try and gain more when there's many more opportunities to come next week, especially with what I believe price is going to do in the next week, because of how far overbought I believe we are on EU and GU. We do need to come back down and retest some sort of structural point or some sort of area, because we've got this fucking 1 hour or daily fair value gap here to tap into. We've got so much structure down here that needs to be retested. So next week's going to be a good week for the sales. So I'm not going to get overzealous right now and try and shoot for the moon, especially with tomorrow being NFP. So manners, people, I'll update you later if this hits 40p or whatever happens. Yo people, good morning. It's been a few days since I've recorded. As you can see, we took a loss on Gbpjpy USD. This was yesterday. Is my Euro USD loss still there? No, and we took a loss on Euro USD, or was it Gbpjpy yesterday? So we took 2 losses yesterday. Is what it is. Market just wasn't heading in our favor, so can't complain about that. I'm not going to go over them just because I can't be bothered, to be quite honest with you. However, today, same exact thing as I saw yesterday. High time frame, we're still bullish. However, all these lines are areas that I want to see get hit, but I can get rid of them for now because I don't need them. But basically, Trump being in power now, coming to presidency, means that he's cutting a lot of rates and doing a lot of things that are going to have a short-term negative effect on the US dollar, because he's basically trying to stop them from just printing money. If you know anything about finance, you know printing money just that isn't hedged to anything makes no sense. The money literally now has no value, like no literal real value. It only has value because they're making up the value of it technically. So essentially, he's stopping the printing of money. He's cutting a lot of rates, and it's going to cause the US dollar to tank heavily for the next year and a half, however long it takes for him to then put other things in place to get the US back where he wants it to be. So because of that, normally if I look at a market like this, I wouldn't want to buy, because we're so, I wouldn't want to buy because we're so overly exhausted, or it looks like we're overly exhausted on price. But when you come to the DXY, on the daily, look, we're dumping. And because of what I just explained about Trump, I believe that we are going to continue heading down on the dollar, which means for the next 3 to 4 months, 5-6 months, I do want to be bullish. Unless things change, obviously, fundamentally, I want to be bullish on Gbpjpy USD and Euro USD, as well as gold. I might not start trading gold much, but I might start implementing it slowly but surely, because it's so volatile. But yeah, so because of that, I was bullish, and I am bullish, even though we are so overly extended. We did tap into this monthly fair value gap and get a reaction off this month also. So higher time frame, we're bullish. Come on to the 1 minute time frame. Asia range lows get swept out. We have then got right here, I'll mark it out for you just so you guys can see. Boom, here we have a change of character. Here we then have a break of structure. Boom, break of structure. We then retrace, or before the break of structure, where was the last zone that price came down to before pushing up? That would be this candlestick here, and then we have to include this because this is still a down move. This order block, limit on order block. We came down to it, didn't tap me in. I was vexed. Came back up, tapped me in. Took 50% at 3 risk to reward at this high here. I believe that was 3 risk to reward, 2.8, basically same thing. I think it was a bit higher, but regardless, took 50% there. Let the rest ride out to London session highs. Move on GBP USD, exact same thing. Nothing to discuss. Higher time frame bias, bullish. Asian lows swept. Break a structure, change a character, break a structure, retracement into the order block. Same thing. Basically the exact same move because price was moving in the exact same way. I know that Euro USD typically tends to follow GBP USD. Not to a T, but in this instance it was. So I entered both of them and it's paid off for us. I do want to keep buying until this weekly high does get taken out, and I'm gonna go not to the wick, I'm gonna go to the body, because actually what might also be sensible is to come up here and mark out, okay, we're in this daily order block now, mark out this daily order block up here, because I want to keep buying until we come up to this daily order block. Once we come up to this daily order block, then I will start being a bit more careful. We could draw it as a weekly. Then I will start being a little bit more careful as to, cool, price might start reversing, we might get a retracement now, but until we get up to this zone here, I'm just buying and buying and buying, because I believe price does want to keep, we've got a long way to go till we get there, but that's what I did. Up, what did that make me today? I think that made me like 4.6% on the day, I think. So it's put me in 1.2% profit on the account. We'll just take it from there, slow and steady. I'm not trading again today because later on today we've got news dropping, and I just want to stay out of that. We'll come back again tomorrow for London session. Man. What is going on, people? I haven't recorded in a few days, so let me just explain. We took a loss on Gbpjpy this morning. However, then it went on to hit full TP, Asia range high sweep, change cap to break a structure, retracement into supply zone. Simple. I should have put my stops up here and entered on this supply zone up here. However, hindsight's 2020. Not gonna sit here and say I should have done something when my plan was to get in here because it made sense. So that's a loss today. We've taken another loss on GBP USD a few days ago, but I was quite busy, so I didn't record. I've started working now, so I'm a bit busy. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get these videos in better. However, for today, I want to get in some some Euro USD sells. Let me just get rid of all these. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, Euro USD sells. We've just opened into New York. It's 12:30, but it's New York because the clocks went back or they went forward, something like that. So until the end of this month, New York is opening at 12:30. London still opens the same time because we run London, because we're obviously from the UK. So London is on our time. However, New York is based on their time. So we've just had a sweep of Asia range highs. We've then had, obviously up here, change of character occurred up here. And then this break of structure happened here. So the last supply zone that was created before the break of structure is up here. What I want to do is I want to get a limit on this zone here, stops above here, and a little bit higher just to account for spread. TPs down to Asia range lows, like that. That's what I'm gonna literally enter in right now. I'll update you later. Also, to update you guys, I have decided now that I am, so I'm working basically a full-time job as well, alongside trading and athletics. However, what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start risking 1-2% on my funded account challenges, because now I have a job, I can just buy accounts every month, and what I realized is I'm being too careful and too cautious on these accounts. I don't want to spend I don't want to spend 3 months, 6 months on the same account challenge. That doesn't make sense, just to eventually either blow it or pass it. I want to get to the stage now where I'm blowing accounts or passing accounts in a month, 2 months max, because there's no point in me delaying the process anymore, trying to be overly careful, because if I risk 1%, I'll end up blowing the account, or risk 0.5%, I would have end up blowing the account. Just 6 months later, the account still gets blown, and I still won't have made money from that account. So it doesn't make sense for me to sit here and try and hold on to these funded accounts now so carefully when I've got a good income coming in every month to be able to just buy an account, multiple accounts at a time. So I'm going to start risking 2%. I've increased the risk I'm placing on this funded account. Initially, I was using 0.5. I went up to 0.75 this morning just because I'm still in drawdown. I want to get back to break even on the account. And then once I get to break even, I'll risk 1.5, maybe 2% on the account each time, just because I need to, like I said, I need to be blowing these or passing them quickly. It serves me no purpose being on a funded stage for 2 hours. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It's not going to serve a purpose. I'm just delaying. Like, the money's just around the corner, fam. You get what I'm saying? Me trying to be as cautious as I've been trying to be, it's just delaying my process. So I'm going to start going a little bit more aggressively into these funded accounts, just because, like I said, I want to pass or fail quickly and move on to the next, get a payout, blow it, move on to the next, get a payout, keep getting payouts, maybe blow it. But I'm okay with losing the account now, because I know that just as quickly as I can lose an account, I can pass the account just as quickly. Whereas with the lower amount of risk, it takes long to blow the account, but it also takes long to pass the account. So like, the only benefit to using such as low risk is to keep the account. And the only reason you would want to keep the account is because you will be worried potentially about not being able to get another account because you don't have money. But now I've got money coming in every month. Just gonna start blowing through these accounts, if that makes sense. Just hammering these accounts and see what happens, because I know what I'm doing now. It's just about executing and having it happen quickly. So that's the kind of mindset I'm in. I'm gonna start risking more on these funded accounts. So you're gonna start seeing me say, blue this account, pass this account, blue this account, because I'm going hard now. I don't really care. Like, the idea of not losing an account doesn't make you a good trader. Like, just because you've been on an account and you can maintain the account doesn't make you a good trader. And then also blowing an account doesn't make you a bad trader. But yeah, that's kind of where my mindset is at, and that's what I'm going to be doing as of now, moving onwards, because the money's just, you see the corner, fam? You see just round this corner here that you can't see to this door? The money's right there, fam. I just need to grab it, fam. It's right around the corner. So on to the next. We'll see what happens. Like I said, today I'm entering a GJ trade. A Euro USD trade potentially. Let me show you. I already just showed you what I'm looking at, but yeah. Hopefully we get a retracement into this order block. See what happens. Yo, people. So price just decided to dump away from this zone instead of retracing up to my order block that I had drawn out up here. However, what we've had now, and I believe that price is going to continue heading down. So what I've done is on the 3 minute, you can see we've had this build up here. We've had a very nice respect of this fair value gap. We tapped into the 50%. I would have liked to get in straight after this candlestick closed. However, I wasn't paying attention. What I've seen is I got in after this close here, because I believe that this fair value gap is going to hold strong. TPs are down at where are TPs? Why am I tripping? Yeah, TPs are down at the previous week's low, down there. So we'll just see what happens. I manually executed on this trade because I do believe price still needs to continue heading down. But different trade entry to how I normally would trade. However, it makes sense, and it is a 2.23 RR, so makes sense. Or 2.2 RR. I'm happy to take that. And hopefully, like I said, I'm going to be a bit more aggressive with these funded accounts, entering trades that make sense still. However, just entering, I wouldn't normally enter a trade like this because it's not at the top of a zone. However, I'm still confident price is going to come down, and like I said, I want to get a little bit more aggressive with the trade entries and the trade risk, just because I want to pass these accounts quick. At the end of the day, I'm not going to spend too much time on these funded stages. If I blow it, I blow it. If I pass it, I pass it. But yeah, that's the reasoning for this trade right now, and we'll see what happens. I'll update you later. Yo, what's going on, people? So it is the next day. I was talking about that Euro USD trade I was in. We were ranging and consolidating for ages, this whole zone, and we finally dropped down, hit TP. This made us, I risked 0.75. Like I said, I'm going to increase the risk now that we're back to almost break even on the account to 1%, and then 1.5%, 2% after I have a buffer on the account. This made us 1.45% because I actually thought it was a 1 to 2, but I got filled at like 1 to 8. So I wouldn't normally take that trade, but technically I thought it was a 1 to 2. I'm happy with taking 1 to 2s. But yeah, we're now down on the account like minus 0.2%. So we're technically break even again. Next week I will start increasing the risk size because, like I said, we need to start passing fast or failing fast. Manners. Yo people, what's going on? So as you can see, we lost a Gbpjpy trade today. Reasoning behind this trade is higher time frame daily we're bullish, 4 hour we're bullish, so we dropped down into the lower time frames. We had a sweep of London or Asian session lows here, then we internally swept out the lows again, which gave me enough information or enough confidence to say price has enough fuel to go buy side, to go bullish. Let me just put this as a liquidity sweep as well. We also tapped into this 30-minute order block that was printed on last Monday. So we printed into that, or was that last Monday? No, that was yesterday. What am I talking about? Into this 30-minute order block. We had a 3-minute change of character, boom, break of structure. I didn't get in there because I saw this secondary liquidity sweep and this was what I wanted to get in off of. So we pushed up again and we created this 5-minute fair value gap right in here. I entered on the 5-minute fair value gap, and as you can see, for hours and hours and hours, price decided it was going to just continue to range. We had some really weird price action because if you look here, look at this. This massive wick, this massive wick, this massive wick. These beautiful bullish dojis or hammers, whatever you want to call it, and then we get stopped out. So is what it is. Can't really complain. What I'm looking for now is higher time frame on Euro USD. I still believe, although we're bullish up here, we have broken structure down here on the daily. So we're bearish again. 4 hour we're bearish. If we go into the daily, or maybe it's the weekly, no, yeah, the daily, you can see this area here. This move down, the last move up over here was tapped into over here. So this is a daily order block we've been tapped into. On top of that now, on top of that now, we have this order block up here that has been tapped into. And on the 30-minute, we've had some rejections. Then we drop down onto the lower time frame. Obviously, Asian range has been taken out quite a long while ago. However, what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing London session highs up here. Let me mark this out. London highs. Let's go top left. Let's get rid of these arrows. London highs are currently being taken out. So now what I'm looking for on the lower time frame is a change of character, which happened here. Change of character. I'll be waiting for a break of structure below this point here, or maybe below this point, because this was the low that led to the liquidity sweep. So once we get a break below this zone here on either the 1 minute or the 3 minute, that works well as well. I will be looking then to get in on a retracement on price around here, stops above the zone, TPs down to London session lows, which are down here. But that's what I'm looking for today. Obviously, probably won't get that good of an entry, but I'll update you guys later and see if this happens or not. I've got work at 4 p.m, so we've got about 2.5 hours for this to play out and to come into fruition. Back again, people. So we didn't get in on GU simply because I got in on EU slightly earlier. I got in on EU. I entered manually. However, I didn't get filled up here, which is unfortunate. I got filled down here for 7 hours. Still good. Not going to complain. Stops above this high because I don't believe that this high needs to be covered because this is the liquidity sweep. And I used to put my stops up above the liquidity sweep. However, after we've had a break of structure to the downside where I want that price to go, I tend to cover the highs that were just above the supply slash demand, above or below the supply slash demand. So we're manually entered on EU. I did want to manually enter on GU as well. However, due to my account and the leverage on my account, I can't get in both of these trades with 1% risk because of margin. I might try and enter GU now in a minute with 50% risk, or not 50% risk, 0.5% risk instead of 1%, and see if that allows me. But I'm in this trade now. This is what I'm looking for, and I'll update you guys later if this hits TP or SL. Yo, people, what's up? So on this trade, we came down to 3 risk to reward. I closed 50% of the position, gaining 1.4% on the funded account, and I've gone to break even. It looks like price is deciding that, you know what, 3 hours enough, and it's gonna push up to stop me out of break even. That's what it is. I literally have to leave in 5 minutes to go to work, so I won't be able to update this until tomorrow because I finish at 11 and I'm not coming and recording at 11 p.m. But we'll see what happens. I'll probably see what happens during the day while I'm at work. But yeah, good day today. 1.5%, 1.4% on the account, bringing the account total back up. Actually, no, we lost a GJ trade this morning, didn't I? So that was minus 1%. So we would have been at minus 1.4% or 1.3%. So we'll be positive or break even on the account right now. So yeah, that's the situation, and I'll catch you on the next trading day tomorrow, or tomorrow, because I'm not going to be recording at 11 p.m. tonight. In a bit, guys. I don't know if this is going to make the video, but I'm at work right now and I'm thinking about closing another 50% of my position just because it's 9 p.m. and my position's running in another 2.6 pips of 2.6% in profit. I'm not too sure if I want to let this run overnight, but I'll make a decision in the next 10 minutes. But yeah, so if I close another half of the position out right now, 50% of the position out right now, I will be up 2.5% on the day. If I close the full position, I'll be up 3.7% on the day. So I just closed out the full position just because I'm happy to take 3.5% on the day, bringing my account back up to, I think, 2.7% in profit. Yo, people, what's going on? I've just placed a limit on Euro USD, so 3-minute chart, Asia range highs swept out, change of character in here, break of structure in here, retracement into this 3-minute order block, as you can see, based off of this candle. We've just almost tapped me in, and we didn't get in. I'm hoping price pushes up a little bit more because I haven't got a notification from TradeLocker saying I'm in. But if this trade hits TP, if we do get tapped in and this hits TP, this will pass our stage 1 of the funded account challenge. And then we'll be on to stage 2. So we'll see what happens and I'll update you. Yo, people, so trade has hit TP. This made in total, as you can see here, where today, $477, which is 4.77%. Bringing my total account balance up to, as you can see, 10,708, which is stage 1 passed. However, I think I might have just got an email from them. Yeah, I just got an email from them. Look, guys, how do can you see that? Basically saying your certificate is available, you've reached your profit target, blah blah blah. I'm gonna check real quick, because what I was gonna say is I accidentally entered a position. On each position on my account, I can only have 1.5% max risk on each position, or 2% total on the account at one time. I accidentally entered a position and it had 1.63% risk, so I quickly closed it 5 minutes later. And I thought that would breach me. I need to check this email and see. Shall we check together now? Congratulations on your profit target. You're one step closer. Please close all your trades and verify your identity and your password. We'll start the assessment process, which usually takes up to 24 hours. Certificate available. Your account details are ready. Okay, so from 24 hours from now, they'll verify and we'll find out if they're going to breach me for that. If they do, we get reset back to stage 1. The start of stage 1 is what it is. I passed this literally 2 days ago. I was minus 3% on the account and I just passed stage 1. So I'm not too fast. If they reset me, they reset me. It's just a blip in the road, a blip in the journey. Just do the same shit again with more knowledge is what it is. But if they pass me, on to stage 2, we'll make 5%, then we'll be funded. I'm not gonna get too gassed yet because, like I said, I need to see if they tell me in the next 24 hours if I've breached or not. However, This shit still look nice, gang. This shit still look nice, gang. You know what I'm saying? 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 Doing this shit for real.
Yo fam, man's at training, but I just got a notification saying that TP hit on Gbpjpy USD. You know what that means, fam? TP on Gbpjpy USD this morning means we passed stage 2, fam. Past stage 2. It's a minimum of 4 trading days that you have to be active on. I've been active on 2 trading days in stage 2. I technically passed stage 2 too quickly. So I'm just gonna 0.1 lot, 0.01 lot for the next 2 days, and then the account will be fully passed. Unless they hit me with some breach that happened in either stage 1 or stage 2, but I believe I'll be fine because they moved me on from stage 1 to stage 2. And that was the only time there was potentially gonna be a breach. So they should have already reset me back to stage 1 instead of giving me stage 2. So I'm thinking I'm in the clear and we're funded in the next 2 days on this account. The plan is get a funded payout with this account, use that payout to buy a 100k account, and from the moon to the moon, fam. After that we go straight to the moon with everything.
Yo, what's going on, people? What is going on, people? I have good news. So, as you guys know, I passed my stage 1 of the $10,000 account. I got moved on to stage 2. And at the beginning of stage 2, I took these 2 losses. I believe this brought me to minus 3% on the account on the stage 2, where you have to make 5% to then get funded. I then took a sell on Gbpjpy USD, got stopped out. Look how crazy this is. Got stopped out at break even. By the way, I'm sorry guys, it's been a few days since I last recorded just because I've been so busy with work. I've just kept the trades on the chart so I could catch up with you guys once I do get the time, which I am now. So we got stopped out at break even, and then price decided it was going to go straight to my TP. That was in London session. So during New York session, we got in on a beautiful trade up here. We had a nice sweep of London highs, a tap into this higher time frame order block as well. We then had a change of character, break of structure, a retracement into a lower time frame order block. And as you guys know, I said I was increasing my risk because I wanted to start passing these accounts fast or losing these accounts fast. So we risked 1.5% on this trade, which ended up making us back these 2 losses. So we're minus 3%. This made us, I believe, like 4.4%. So then we were plus 1%. And then I took this next trade. When was this? Actually, yesterday, I took this trade to pass the account. We had a London session high or Asia range high sweep, break of or we then created. It was very choppy, but I still like the move. So what happened is Asia range sweep high. Here we had a change of character. Here, this low broke this initial low here. Then we broke this low here to create a break of structure. And we retraced into this 1 minute gap that we were respecting. I wanted to see it get tested again. We tapped into it and I got in on a market execution. Was aiming for Asia range lows. We took them out, bish bash bosh. And we passed stage 2. So now, I basically got an email saying that I need to update my KYC information to verify myself before they can move me on to the next stage, which is the funded account. I just uploaded that information now, so I'm hoping in the next 24 hours we can officially title this video I got funded again, or I passed my funded account, or whatever. We'll see, because they still need to do their checks after I verify myself, or after I have verified myself. They might say that I broke some rule here or some rule here, so I'm not getting overexcited or overly happy about this, but we're moving in the right direction. Upping the risk size on the account was obviously a good idea. Now that I know what I'm doing, it's good to pass these accounts fast. Like, just at the start of this month, at the 3rd of March, I was minus 4% on stage 1. And now I have I have passed stage 2. So it just shows what happens when you lock in, you pay attention, and you just move towards your goals with intention, and you just stay diligent, man. Just, if I can give any advice to you, man, it's just keep it up, man. Just stay diligent, do what you need to do, when you need to do it, stay consistent, and it will pay off in the end, fam. It's not a big account. Like I said, this account isn't going to change my life. However, it's now proof that I can do it, and this is the second time I've passed a funded account. You guys know the story about the first time. The rules changed, my trading plan changed, so I had to get a new account. Passed this 10k account. Plan is get a payout from this 10k account, buy a 100k account or a 200k account, depending on the size of the payout, and run it up again. Do the same thing. Hopefully we'll be going in the right direction, heading where we need to go. But I'll update you guys tomorrow based on this, or even later tonight if they give me my funded certificate. Manners and respect. And if what I think is going to happen happens, and I get my funded certificate, we'll be moving on to season 2, man. Season 2, this is season 1. Potentially over and done with, fam. But yeah, man, I'm happy, feeling blessed. Just need to keep doing what I'm doing. Manners, people.
Yo, people. Look at this, fam. Look at this. You get me? I deserve this, fam. Second time I've been funded. 2 funded accounts I've got. Unfortunately, one of the prop firms shut down or is shutting down and hasn't paid me out. But these are just stepping stones. These are things that are going to give me a story to tell and things to remember, fam. I'm going to look back on this struggle one day and be like, you know what, fam? You deserve it. Just happy, man. I'm happy now I'm in a situation that I'm elevating myself every time, every week. I'm more motivated, more consistent, more disciplined, more focused, more gratitude-filled, if that even makes sense, than I've ever been, fam. I am now. I know it in my heart and my soul and my mind. I am the version of myself that will change the course of my life and my family's life for the rest of time, fam. And I'm happy, man. I just need to stay focused, which I will. Take this shit to the moon and back, fam. Take this shit to the moon and beyond, G. It's mad. It's mad. It's been a long time coming. Had to go through certain things, physically, mentally, spiritually, to even become the person that I am, that has the potential to change my life. And this funded account is not going to change my life. This 10-bag funded account ain't going to change my life. But it's allowed me to show myself for a second time now I can change my life. Get a payout from this account, use it to buy a 100-bag account, 200k account, whatever, depending on the size of the payout I get. And yeah, man, from there, the sky is the limit, fam. Manners and respect, people. Season 1, over and done with. You get me? We're moving on to season 2, fam. Next video you drop is season 2. It's time for season 2. It's time for elevation. It's time for financial freedom. It's time for everything that comes with this trading thing, man. Blessings and manners, people.